According to Union of Concerned Scientists, it says that coal-fired powered plants form deep underground over thousands of years of heat and pressure. Coal is a carbon-rich black rock that releases energy when burned. In the United States, roughly 30% of all electricity comes from coal. The rest comes from natural gases, nuclear, and renewables like wind and solar. Most U.S. coal comes from either above ground mines in Wyoming and Montana or underground mines in Appalachia. Mining jobs, once an important component of the U.S. economy, has fallen dramatically since peaking in the 1950s, thanks in large part to advances in machine automation. More recently, coal production and coal power have slowed as other cleaner sources of electricity became more affordable. While difficult for the communities that depend on coal mines and plants, the transition away from coal is essential for avoiding some of coal's worst impacts. To the electricity customers, coal is relatively cheap, but missing from the sticker price are coal's major impacts on ecosystems, human life, and our economy. All of the impacts of coal have an economic cost, from the jobs lost by fishermen downstream of a coal mine to the healthcare costs of people sickened by the coal-fired power plant pollution, to the cost of cleaning up spills of toxic coal waste. The health impacts of coal pollution have enormous economic costs through healthcare costs and loss of productivity. Other industries depend on the ecosystems coal mining destroys. This is this economic impact on industries such as recreational fishing, commercial fishing, and tourism is particularly relevant in Alaska. Negative effects on the economy led to worse health in population, which has an impact on healthcare costs, compounding the economic impact. Mining and burning coal releases a number of toxic pollutants, some of which remains behind as solid waste, and some of which are released into the atmosphere. These pollutants are responsible for a large number of illnesses and premature deaths, both to people directly involved in the industry and people worldwide. Coal dust in mines and near storage and transport facilities contributes to serious respiratory illnesses such as asthma and black lung. Airborne pollutants have a larger footprint despite air pollution regulations. Toxic emissions from coal-fired power plants are estimated to be responsible for thousands of deaths due to lung disease each year in the US and in Canada. One of the worst issues that coal coal-powered plants have on the planet is global warming. Climate change is coal's most serious long-term global impact. Chemically, coal is mostly carbon, which, when burned, reacts with oxygen in the air to produce carbon dioxide, a heat-trapping gas. When released into the atmosphere, carbon dioxide works like a blanket, warming the Earth above normal limits. Consequences of global warming include drought, sea level rise, flooding, extreme weather, and species loss. The severity of those impacts is tied directly to the amount of carbon dioxide we release, including from coal plants. In the United States, coal accounts for roughly one quarter of all energy-related carbon emissions. Our governments should shut the least economic plants first, it adds, and when it is cheaper to build new renewables and gas capacity, they should ban new coal investments, a point that has been reached in India, the US, Europe, and parts of Latin America. When it is cheaper to build new renewables and gas than to continue running existing coal plants, they should implement a coal phase out. This appears imminent in Germany, the US, and other nations where solar PV and onshore wind have undercut coal in power auctions in 2018. After all the research our group has done, we have arrived to a conclusion that coal-fired power plants are harmful to the environment and society. Other options like renewable electric sources should be the go-to of the American society.